Nigeria is ranked between the 20th and 27th largest economy in the world in terms of nominal GDP. And Nigeria is the 18th largest in terms of purchasing power parity. Nigeria's manufacturing sector became the largest on the continent in 2013. This included producing a large proportion of goods and services for the West African subcontinent. Nigeria will have the highest average GDP growth in the world by 2050 and is one of 2 countries from Africa among the 11 with the undoubted growth indicators. As well as its strong economic outlook, culturally, Nigeria is a world leader. Nigeria's film industry, Nollywood, is globally recognized as the 2nd largest film producer in the world. The industry contributed 2.3% to Nigeria's GDP in 2016 and is identified as a priority sector in Nigeria's economic recovery and growth plan with a planned 1 billion in export revenue this year, 2020. You see, for many years, Nigeria understood its greatness and potentials, so communicated and acted accordingly in the continent and globally. But this picture seems to be changing. The present administration has done very well to draw attention to how corruption has held back the economy of Africa's potential largest economy. Nigeria's President Buhari is right in attempting to highlight and build global confidence in Nigeria's economy through fighting corruption and being seen to do so. But this strategy has not generated the expected confidence on Nigeria's economic outlook. For example, recently, Nigeria, since 2016, Nigeria has been edged out of the top fastest growing economies in Africa. Nigeria has ceased to make the list since 2016 of Africa's fastest growing economies. Nigeria fell lower last year in its anti-corruption rating from 144 to 146, according to Transparency International. The current administration's anti-corruption global representation of itself is failing because it is inward-looking. It lacks strategic positioning within the African continent and promotes the negative rather than the positive and potentials of Nigeria. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, between 1999 to 2007 as President of Nigeria, understood how important it was to position Nigeria regionally, that's within the continent and globally, in roles commensurate with Nigeria's potentials. President Olusegun played a frontline role in restoring peace to Liberia. Using his personal diplomacy, Obasanjo ensured the successful end of the Liberian War and, by extension, the Sierra Leonean War. Obasanjo also played a key role in brokering peace in Sao Tome and Principe and the Republic of Togo. A senior UN official told me many years ago, as I started my career in the UN, how then President Olusegun Obasanjo refused the presence and entrance of an international medical NGO in Nigeria because he saw it as undermining the strong resources in Nigeria, and Obasanjo was concerned about how this would seem to the rest of Africa and the world. He felt that image was disempowering to Nigerians and to Africans and sent the wrong signal to the world. President Goodluck Jonathan, when he came in, also echoed Obasanjo's commitment to ensuring Nigeria addresses its own humanitarian needs. And this was how Goodluck Jonathan facilitated the response to the 2012 flood crisis, which left over 7 million Nigerians affected and over 2 million displaced. Jonathan facilitated the establishment of a presidential task force, which was a joint venture between Nigeria's private and public sector, and this was the force that funded the humanitarian response and assistance to the over 7 million affected, including resettling over 2 million internally displaced people within 2 months of being displaced. Jonathan and Obasanjo took these actions in recognition of Nigeria's position in Africa and the world. Today, the picture is different. Nigeria has been appealing globally for humanitarian aid to address the needs falling out of the Northeast crisis since 2015. Over 2 million people have remained displaced for over 5 years, unsettled. Now, this is what I find very worrying about how Nigeria is representing itself today. In Africa and globally, there have been numerous African initiatives to build the resources of Africa to be self-sustaining and self-empowering, to promote self-determination in Africa, that Nigeria seems to be too reflective about getting on board. Nigeria should lead these initiatives and not be seen to be reflecting and thinking twice. Nigeria should be a leader and not a follower, and not a hesitant follower in the region, given its potentials, given its power. I've been very concerned regarding how Nigeria has reacted recently to some comments that have been made by Western governments about Nigeria and Nigerians. The way a government communicates, positions, and upholds its citizens determines how they function nationally and globally. Nigeria needs to do more in upholding the image of Nigerians around the world. For example, I was really concerned that Nigeria seemed to be conciliatory and was fostering a servant-master relationship over the recent banning of Nigerians from migration visas. I do not think the government of Nigeria should be conciliatory. The government of Nigeria should actually assure Nigerians that, it would put measures in place to ensure Nigerians do not feel the need to migrate to the United States. Nigeria needs to speak more authoritatively, needs to act more decisively, needs to be confident of what it has to offer continentally and globally. We need to act accordingly. This is no time to be apologetic. So what will it take to get Nigeria back on track to act, communicate, position itself as it should and has been doing many times over and over?
I wish to make our position plain beyond any matter of doubt as regards the African continent. We in Nigeria appreciate the advantages which the size of our country and of its population give us, but we have absolutely no aggressive intentions. We shall never impose ourselves upon any other country, and shall treat every African territory, big or small, as our equal, because we honestly feel that it is only on that basis of equality that peace can be maintained in our continent. Crying out for peace, we may receive the inspiration to deal with these intractable problems and be able really to devote all our resources to the advancement of mankind by applying those eternal truths which will inevitably persist long after we ourselves are utterly forgotten. Thank you, Mr. President.